Hey everybody, this is Bryan Cranston from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and this is the DVD commentary for episode 506. Ooh, it's a good one. And next to me here in Albuquerque,
Melissa Bernstein, co-executive producer.
And Werner Hahnlein, special effects supervisor.
and in Los Angeles we have
Anna Gunn, I play Skyler White.
Bob Odenkirk, I'm here to see the TV show The Breaking Bad people.
And Colin Bucksey, who directed this episode.
And Gennifer Hutchison, I wrote this episode.
I'm Aaron Paul, and I play Jesse Pinkman.
What's inside the dirt mound?
This is how they actually
what happens on the show? Every week they find something in the dirt?
It's true. This is how they actually ship motorcycles these days. They ship them in surrounded by sand. It's a very protective thing. Jenny, why don't you start off with how you guys came up with this idea to open the show with this dismantling?
Well, at the end of the previous episode, obviously Todd shoots that little boy, Drew Sharp, and we knew we wanted to kind of intimate as to what ultimately happens to his body, but we also really didn't want to put a young child in a barrel. So the idea was that the dirt bike is kind of the stand-in for what's ultimately going to happen, which is why this whole sequence has kind of this funereal feel. We wanted people to understand without actually being horribly explicit.
And Dave Porter did an incredible job scoring this teaser to that effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it feels like that. It kind of feels like they're cutting up a body.
Yeah.
Here, hopefully.
How long did it take to shoot this sequence?
About an hour.
Really?
No.
Wow. Here it is. Here's the moment.
It was a while.
This is so just...
Yeah.
And this is something that Werner can speak to. Also, the construction
Yeah, we built a
of
little
this.
box underneath there for the child to have his arm sticking through so he was safe.
It was in the back
Yeah,
of
that's
this
actually his hand.
pickup truck. That's actually his hand. And so he was in the back box completely away from all the sand and dirt and sticking his arm through a sleeve, basically.
A neoprene sleeve.
Yeah.
Worked real well.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, he was totally up for it too. Could not have had a better time.
Sam Webb. Yeah. What a...
And our art department making that safe, with Al Godot's help, so it didn't collapse on Sam.
Yeah. Jesse Plemons, who's come on our show last year.
So great.
We have a contract with cigarette companies that we product placement.
Still making it look cool.
Yeah, and it's still making smoking looking cool. Oh God. Now, Aaron, he quit smoking, and now he's asked to go back and smoke cigarettes again in a scene. And I was asking him, was this a dangerous thing for you to do?
Shit happens, huh?
No, I'm such a professional. So, it's so disgusting. It just is a constant reminder how gross it is.
Good punch, by the way.
Thank you.
That's a nice move. Yeah, anytime on the show that we have anything that even resembles a fight or a push or anything, we always have Al Godo, our stunt coordinator, come out, work with the actors, and make sure that no one gets hurt.
And that it looks the way we want it to look on screen, which is, real and scary, and that was all about the surprise.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like I wanted to.
Good shiner.
The kid was on a dirt bike. I mean, he could have just gunned it and been gone before we even had a chance to blink. We never would have been able to catch him. I was thinking on my feet. I saw a threat and I took care of it the only way that I could.
Love the way this scene puts, morality back at the center of this group and sees, where's Walt going to come down? Where's Mike going to come down?
Mm-hmm. We know where Jesse is, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole point of this thing was that no one was supposed to
Well,
know
Jesse has really become the moral center, hasn't he? Here.
Well, I know that, Vince has always talked about that, and I've always felt that it was Hank Schrader who is really the morality, bugle blowing guy. It's that he's the one who hasn't changed. He hasn't compromised his position throughout this whole series.
Except for those times where he stepped over the line, where like when he sort of beat up Jesse and because that was something he wasn't really in his heart of hearts comfortable with.
Why don't you step outside for a few minutes?
But Jesse has changed, hasn't he? I mean,
I would say Jesse's definitely changed, and his morality it's still within this criminal context, but
Yes.
he definitely is. It's kind of coalescing, and he's. I think killing the scene where he has to kill Gail was a huge turning point for him as a character.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we shot this scene at our Vamonos pest control location, which was a pretty cool location that we took over and created our company there.
Stick to the facts here.
This office and the garage.
How about the fact that he shot a kid?
It was the hottest time of the year, 4 days in an unair-conditioned garage.
Yeah.
A poor crew.
Yeah, the crew. Just the crew. That's all. Forget
And
the
our cast,
actors.
because they're wearing like 5 layers of clothing.
Wow.
What someone exactly. We can't know because Ricky Hitler.
Yeah, there's a lot. I love that line.
Yeah.
Ricky Hitler.
That is a lie.
That's a great line.
Because Ricky Hitler.
Just went ahead and made the choice for us. Is that how we do business now?
Look, I understand you're upset.
And what was that crap about his own?
And Aaron, I think you took a few phone calls at a payphone outside this location.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
is this this was the infamous?
Well, I hadn't seen a payphone in so long. And I thought it was actually set deck. And I was like, that's a random place to put a payphone. And I went to check it out and it worked. And so I just tweeted out the number and said, call me. I was lonely. I just wanted to talk to them.
And they called from all over the world. It was amazing.
Yeah, they literally called from all over the world. It was great.
Not a fan of this option.
But the phone wouldn't stop ringing, so we had to leave it off the
Off the hook, yeah.
Most likely have to pay him to keep quiet.
This is where we're contemplating our options. It's what bald-headed men do best.
It is a very bald scene.
Yeah. Aaron's got the longest hair among us. Is like,
Yeah, I have the most hair.
hippie.
On payroll. Put him back on tenting houses, setting up the lab, and so forth. We can't.
Now, there's a couple false walls. So we had our construction crew come in here, Mark Freeborn designing it, and W. Gilpin constructing these false walls because it was actually a much bigger warehouse, and we needed to section this off and make it look like an office.
And add the wood paneling.
Add the wood paneling. So the wall behind him that you see there, that's false. And the one to the right of that is false as well. But this room does connect.
You'll
Yeah.
see the reason for that later.
Yeah.
Still in.
Right on. Thank you so much. Yeah, you guys totally made it right.
I really like the shot here, Colin, like through
Yeah.
the grate.
Yeah. Well, that just happened to be there. So if it's there, use it. Right?
Yeah, it's great. When I read this scene, I was just so creeped out.
Yeah.
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 This character.
Well, what's fun about it is, I mean, Todd actually sounds kind of reasonable in the scene where he's basically begging for his life. I mean, he's making an argument that you could, it's obviously what he did was terrible, but you kind of understand where he's coming from. And then you have this scene, and it's like, oh yeah, no, that kid's not right.
Yeah, no, he's
There's something else going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Colin, this is your 4th episode for us, right?
It is indeed, Melissa, yes. And unfortunately, my last.
Everyone's winding down.
I know it.
We're actually here, as we're
Sad.
recording this, we are shooting episode
13.
13. right now. Actually, this is a Saturday, so we're not shooting, but 5:13. We have 3 more after this one, and then we're done, right?
Yeah.
One of our famous park scenes. I feel like we've had quite a few park scenes.
Mm-hmm. Mike really was an amazing character. It's like this. He was the fixer, the cleaner, the guy who had eyes in the back of his head. I like this scene because the cops really think, oh, wait a minute, it's going down, it's going down.
You just stashed something underneath that trash can. Write the time down. Roll on it.
And Phil Duran, a local actor, playing our undercover DEA agent.
Yeah. And Stephen Michael Quesada. He's kind of a local hero here in town.
Indeed.
He's got a show called the After Party that he does, a live variety show.
And he's on the school board.
And he's now on the school board.
Yeah, he just got
He's an active guy.
He really is.
And having Kaja Bales, who plays Jonathan Banks' granddaughter, Mike's granddaughter, having her in that tree took a lot of thought.
It's not my fault that Martha's got his panties in a twist. That's an HR issue, Janice. I read the report. I'm calling again because that's the wrong case file number. All right, I don't know what kind of shoddy state. First off, Miracle Whip is not mayonnaise, okay? Looks like it doesn't equal taste like it. Secondly, every time it's like they gotta slather an entire jaw. Bastard just screwing with us now. How did it make you guys? What'd you do?
We honked our horns and yelled, "Yoo-hoo." What do you mean? What did we do? The sky is slippery as
He's so sad in this scene. Oh my God. There it is.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Seeing it dawn on Mike,
God,
what's on his table to deal with.
Yeah, his race is really kind of run.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, baby. This is like the cutest, one of the cutest babies I've ever seen.
Look at Marie in another purple shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that baby.
Baby. So, Anna, what's it like having to hold a baby for an entire long, intense dialogue scene?
It's great actually because you're playing against. It's nice because she's so cute and sweet and cuddly, and then you have something that's playing against what's going on between me and Marie, and I don't really get to. She's often in her playpen,
right?
Yeah, or her car seat,
or sleeping.
Yeah. Holly sleeps a lot.
I love whenever baby Holly is on set. There's 4.
Yeah,
there's 4 babies.
Yeah,
or 4 or 5. Yeah, and it's just such a happy time.
And she's playing. She's so fascinated with my bracelet, and
yeah, it's so great.
Didn't your breasts well up with milk during this scene, Anna?
Whoa, God, Bryan. No, that was the dream
you are
had,
totally
remember?
into playing this
Told
character.
me about that dream. That was your strange nightmare. I seem to remember.
Now,
that you journaled about.
Can any of us identify? Is that Moira the baby? Which
This
one?
is pre-Moira.
That's pre-Moira?
Yeah.
Yeah, pre-Moira.
Oh, look at her now.
Look at
so cute.
that baby. Are you kidding me?
Anna handled that bracelet thing well because she knew that was the thing that was going to keep the baby.
But I was
fascinated.
aware that that it was a choking hazard at the same time. So there was that.
So there's a little bit of panic in there.
There was a little bit of panic. That's panic, by the way. It is barely concealed panic going on.
This is such a great scene.
It is. Marie gets so close. And she doesn't even know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If only she could, contain herself.
Be a little less Marie.
Yeah, Skyler's just about.
What?
From us.
From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From us. From from Walt and me.
Like what? Like your bad parents? Because you're not even close.
I hope you can recap it for me because I don't remember it.
The scene?
I'm serious. I'm like we go through so much.
Yeah.
And
Jenny,
it's like, what information was coming out on this one?
you want to speak to the scene?
This is the scene. Yeah.
Go
Sorry.
on.
This is the scene where Skyler pretty much almost tells Marie what's going on with Walt. Marie, she breaks down being around the baby, and Marie knows something's wrong. And I mean, obviously, Skyler's completely isolated and alone and would love to talk to someone. And Marie does a great job in almost getting her there. But because Marie has the wrong information, she thinks it's really about Ted. She kind of jumps the gun. And which also informs Skyler that Walt told Marie about Ted, which just pisses her off and shuts her down.
Forced him to, and I wasn't going to say anything, but I cannot stand
It just gets under Skylar's skin so much.
Hey, it gets under her skin.
Yeah.
I had to live with her infidelity this whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the real crime in this show. Okay?
Yes, right. That meth thing, just a little detail.
I tell you though, it's funny. It was you own those relationships, and when you were doing those scenes with Ted Beneke, Chris Cousins comes in. I hated to see him come in. It's like there he is, the asshole home wrecker.
I know.
It really was. You start to
come in the
start to
trailer.
get some jealousies going. It's like, God, I hate this guy.
We have our Vamonos tents.
When I bought him that coconut cream pie, you didn't appreciate that.
Didn't appreciate it at all. And then you had the nerve to bring home a Beneke coffee mug to our home. Soiled the sanctity of our marriage.
So Antoinette Antonio, who's in this scene, is a real Albuquerque news person.
For KOB4, yeah, she is, yeah.
And they recorded this for us in their studio, which was incredibly helpful and allowed us to make it look as real as it does.
Riding his dirt bike into the desert behind
And also, we didn't have that footage when we shot the scene, right? It was burn-in.
No,
you
we're just
guys
looking
were-
at
it was just
You were
looking at
acting
that.
against nothing.
That's what we're looking at, yeah.
Yeah.
just a black screen.
Which is what's amazing to me is that you're able to get to that place where you can have that kind of emotional reaction, and you're basically just playing it in your head.
Yeah, it's just so sad.
Been able to sleep the past few nights just thinking about it.
Here's Walt trying to use logic again. We'll get past this. It's just a bump in the road. Come on.
He's just so good at talking,
A year and a half.
Well, also persuading Jesse that he cares as much about it as Jesse does.
Right.
We run our business our way and make sure that this never happens again. Okay? Look. Listen,
Must have been interesting to find this, Colin, because you had to have a home with a ceiling high enough to be able to put our cook tent inside.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, that was tricky. And it was sort of a socioeconomic issue too, because the houses that are that big were a little bit too elaborate looking that they wouldn't probably have they wouldn't have roaches or a Vamonos pest control company coming in.
Right.
So we had to find houses that were big enough to put this unit in, but that didn't look ridiculous that they would have these people coming to their house in the first place.
Right.
Everyone gets pests.
Yeah.
Oh, this reminds me. I'm whistling during this scene. It's my own composition. Yeah. I need to put that
Your
in.
own composition.
You get paid for this.
I get
right?
paid for this.
Yeah.
Darn right I did.
This is when he realizes.
Yeah.
Okay. You asshole.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And a lifeline.
All that earlier pseudo concern.
Yeah,
is
that's what I'm
like
talking about.
blown at this moment.
You've never heard of someone whistling through their pain?
Hello?
Walter?
Uh-oh.
This isn't ominous at all.
That's a great shot. Great shot, Colin. Just that. It is brilliant because we already know who it is. We don't need to see his face clearly. It's much more frightening just to see his frame.
Where's your cars? We parked around the block. You might consider doing that as well.
Okay. So what's going on?
Just since this morning, I threw 3 separate tales, all DEA.
What?
The feds have been all over.
Down.
It's been going on for a while now.
Did they follow you here?
No, I said I threw them. I would never come to the headquarters of our illegal meth operation dragging a bunch of cops.
How can you be so sure?
Well, I've been doing this a long
I love
time.
even under stress, he always finds a way to just be sarcastic.
How long has this been going on?
Since about the time we started this little venture. The DEA in particular,
Maybe you could talk a little bit, Jenny, about how these stories break and how in the writer's room, you plan out the amount of episodes that you have to cover and then divide up the labor and who's assigned to what. How did you get assigned to this particular episode?
Well, it's actually we break everything together, and the way we work the stories out, the idea is that any one of us could write an episode, and then we're basically assigned kind of in order of, it's almost hierarchical. This season, because we had writers who were directing, that sort of affected the schedule. So it's really kind of just luck as to what episodes you get, and I tend to kind of get very emotional, talky episodes, and it's not planned. That's just kind of how it lays out. Really, any one of us could come in and be able to take the story that we have on our, our cork boards and our cards and be able to write them. But I'm really happy I got this episode because it's got some really awesome scenes. I love this scene because I just love that this is this is really one of those moments where Walt and Mike just break apart. And also Walt is facing losing Jesse, which is sort of that one person he clings to keep under his influence. Such a transitional episode for all of them, really.
Yeah. Anymore. So,
Yeah, we do have to sort of reverse engineer the assignments to some extent to make sure that we're spreading people out properly, particularly with the writers starting to direct. Because by the end of the series, we will have quite a number of writers having had directed. So we just have to make sure there are people in the room and
anytime someone goes to set or is writing, we lose them from the writer's room. So we start with 7 and then it's just whittled down.
highly.
Mike's thinking we'll clear like $5 million each.
I'll pay off my guys in lockup out of my share. And those legacy costs that you're so fond of, you won't have to worry.
I loved when I read this part. It was just like I felt like they were betraying me and abandoning the whole idea of what we were doing,
Come in on this.
just because some little kid gets shot.
But to see Walt caught off guard is always
Yeah.
just...
Yeah.
That's what it is. He's caught off guard. He didn't see this coming at all.
And that's what when we were thinking is that Walt feels betrayed, very betrayed right now.
Yeah.
If they just believed in his vision, they should trust him,
And this is where I wanted, Colin and I had a conversation. I just almost wanted at this point to ignore Mike and focus in on this kid, because I think I could have a better chance of getting to him than Mike. Mike's made his decision, but I sense a little hesitation in him. And so that's why we wanted to do this.
Mike's harder to manipulate.
Yeah.
Just an observation.
The desert.
That's beautiful.
Relax, kid. There's no one there.
Another of our awesome desert locations.
Yeah.
Be here if I wasn't.
Love that fence.
Yeah, it's pretty. So
And you
was this pretty close to our studio, or right?
Yes.
on the
Oh,
outside?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice shot.
Yeah.
And Colin, did you guys shoot this like in the same direction? Is it so that you could stay?
Yeah, we
south-facing?
did, didn't we? We cheated. We cheated. We put the fence on the other side of the shot and did a phony reverse. So we always had the backlight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did.
You take that back home to your people.
This is a new piece of casting, right, Jenny, in your episode?
Yeah. Declan, played by Louis Ferreira, who was really fun.
Yeah,
So great.
And yeah, just really nice and ready to work.
Yeah, such a good guy.
That's 9,975,000.
And I like his luscious head of hair.
Unusual.
I know,
for
right?
Well.
Someone with hair.
I wanted to.
I know.
I do think that was one of your requirements, Jenny.
I'm gonna throw an ad
It
lib in
actually
there.
was when we were casting. We really wanted someone who had hair because, I don't know if anybody's noticed, we tend to have a fair number of bald, shaved heads on our show.
Mm-hmm.
Ted Beneke had hair.
Fucker.
Another thing that pisses Bryan off.
Yeah.
And Morse McNell, who's an Albuquerque actor, is Declan's second. Also, not so much hair.
Not so much hair. Well, because we've learned what the bald-headed man is the most intimidating look a man can have. No hair on your head. See, look at that. Nothing. I don't get intimidated, but look at Louis.
You two have a partner you haven't mentioned?
But Mike will kill you, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't be a problem for you. His territory won't impact yours.
You see, that doesn't work for me. I'm not just buying this for the
In fact, when Jonathan Banks agreed to join our show, he had a luscious head of hair. Just huge. And he...
would you be willing to shave it off?
And he did.
It was
It's
down to his
amazing.
shoulders.
Yeah. Where is Banks? Why isn't he?
Stop playing golf.
He's growing his hair. He's busy.
That's right.
Oh, beautiful.
It's a deep conditioning day.
It's not mine to sell, Declan.
Well, then, no deal, Mike.
There he is.
That's great.
By the
the
way-
monitor and the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one item. That hat and my sunglasses I'm stealing. I'm going out of record right now. They're going with me when the show's over.
I think it's amazing. We only have 2 of those hats. You would think we'd have like 1 million because of how.
You only have 2?
Yeah, we have 2.
Who gets the other one?
We're gonna have an arm wrestling
Who's
tournament
taking the other
for
one?
that.
Should be auctioned.
No.
Yeah.
My house.
Yeah, how much do you think we can get for him in the auction?
Well, this is probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire series.
Is it really?
Yes, I love it. Well, what it leads into, I guess. Starting here,
Yeah.
but I mean, having Jesse invited into the White House
Yeah.
is just wrong. Getting some backstory on
great.
why Walt is doing what he's doing, and then going into this dinner.
Wrong and getting worse.
I love how this Scotch has been a huge part of the latter part of the series. Just Walter constantly having that glass in his hand, and I don't know, I just love it.
Yeah, it's something that just sort of came to be, too.
Yeah.
It was just, yeah.
And him just, just twisting the glass, and I don't know.
Also, like the way that the show uses wide shots a lot allows you to show that separation between the characters of their emotional states, if you like.
Okay, selling them after me now means
It is interesting when we direct a show, a television show. It's very different from directing a film where you're creating the tone and the imagery and visuals and the characters. In this, we're serving what has already been established. And so we have to give the showrunner exactly what they're hoping for and yet hope for some surprises.
And I will not throw it away for nothing.
I don't know how else to say it, Mr. White.
This was fun for me. I remember I got to watch this because I was on set waiting to do the scene that comes after, and I never get to see you two work together. So it was fun for me to get to watch this.
I co-founded it in grad school.
You should come to the set more often.
Actually, I was.
You're always welcome.
Yeah, I've been finding myself coming to set because it's we're shooting the final season now. Just coming to set when I'm not working and just watching scenes go on.
I know. Aaron asked me, I said, when you finished Malcolm in the Middle, what was it like on that last couple days? I said, oh, after 7 years, we were crying and embracing each other, and it was sad. And I said, but, I don't know. You never know how you're going to feel when something comes to an end. It's like a funeral. And he looked at me, he said, I know how I'm going to feel.
Yeah.
A shout out to Jenny for her WGA nomination for this episode.
Yay, Jen.
Yeah. Thank you.
By the time this airs, we'll know that you already won. Congratulations. or we can cut this in. Oh, yeah, I know. You didn't win, but it was great to be nominated. So they can cut either one.
Good try.
Yeah.
Good try.
Good try. Good effort.
When is that? That's soon, right?
Yeah, it's like in a week.
Oh,
so.
Nice, Colin.
Yeah.
I'm in the Empire.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, we did a few takes of that swirl on the scotch just to get it just right.
Now, is that real scotch?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Bryan insists on it.
I insist.
Is it the Macallan?
Yes. Whatever scotch you want delivered to your door, Colin, I'll say yes to.
Such an awkward moment.
So excited that worlds collided here.
Yeah.
Could not
So
have been
was I.
happier.
I was like, yes.
I love how you're barely even turning to her because
Yeah.
you're just so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable.
And these characters haven't seen each other since season 1, right? When Skyler told
Season 1, yeah, when Jesse was dragging the dead body out of the.
Do not
RV.
sell marijuana to my husband.
That's what I thought was going on back in the innocent days.
Yeah. What a very different show it would have been.
That sounded far more reasonable than what actually was going on in Skyler's defense.
It's true.
Yeah.
I just love how there was a dead body wrapped in like a tarp right behind me.
I know.
Oh, this scene.
The most uncomfortable dinner ever.
Oh.
And Skyler's enormous glass of wine.
Yeah. That was Vince specifically asked for the largest wine glass you could possibly have, even though she was drinking white. He's like, get the giant glass.
There is a glass, and I don't know if that's the
like
one.
The child of divorced parents.
I know.
I just like that Jesse's trying to make a good impression. It's like she knows that he's a drug dealer. She knows that he helps Walt, but he still wants to be polite.
Keep the conversation going.
Make it okay.
He's beans.
The glass of water is really like his security blanket. Whenever he gets uncomfortable, he just brings it to his mouth.
Well, his mouth must be so dry at this point, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Aaron, it's just such a great light moment in this episode that you just don't see coming. It's wonderful.
Aaron, you might consider this for submitting for Emmys or something. This is, I mean, it's a very unique scene, and it's all you.
What's that about? It's like, yo, whatever happened to truth in advertising?
That was a good line.
Which
Truth in advertising.
And that's the end of the cut right there in your little clip.
That's like a classic comic grab of the water.
Exactly.
There, moment.
The car wash. Mr. White said it's going really well. It's like you're a great manager.
Yeah, this was an exciting scene for me because we knew we wanted Skyler, Walt, and Jesse to have a dinner together because, I mean, come on. It's comedy gold. And but we didn't know exactly where it would land or what the circumstances would be. And it just fit so perfectly in this episode. And it was like I won the lottery. This was definitely one of my favorite scenes to write of all time on Breaking Bad. And then being on set and seeing you guys just crush it was awesome.
Such a fun scene.
It was really fun.
I know that you, Aaron, ate quite a few green beans,
Yes.
and you, Anna, drank quite a bit of watered down grape juice. So I just want to thank you for your sacrifices and the inevitable bloating that resulted.
Yeah. By the end of the night, Aaron and I were both going,
Yeah.
The reliance on that glass of water is getting heavier and heavier.
Yes, exactly.
Be excused.
And just takes a bottle of wine with her.
I love this line. My kids aren't here. Thank God. Yes.
He keeps eating the beans.
And Skyler asking to be excused, but not really.
They're staying with my in-laws. She made me kick my own kids out of the house.
And then it gets, and then it gets serious again, and you feel really bad for Walt.
She told me that she was counting the days.
But it's such a great manipulation of Jesse, to appeal to him on this level.
My wife is waiting for me to die. This business is all I have left now. It's all I have. And you want to take it away from me.
I want to see this group play Monopoly.
Or Twister.
Left hand red.
Well, what's so smart about this show? Whenever
foot blue.
The famous lights across the garage door shot, where Bryan had been there all day from 3:00 in the afternoon, and this is like 3:30 in the morning, and Bryan is told that there's two shots to do. One is a shot of headlights going across the garage door, and the other involves Bryan. And Bryan says to the first AD, well, I assume that you'll be doing the shot that involves me first, and then I get to go home, and then the garage door shot. And the first AD says, well, for boring technical reasons that I won't elaborate, we got to do that shot first and yours last. And Bryan says to him, Ben, do you think of yourself as being a good guy or a douchebag?
Laying it out right there, huh?
Wow.
It's funny how we remember
In all
things.
fairness, Ben did say to him, actually, I think I'm a good guy, Bryan, but with a little bit of douchebag.
Yeah. Oh, man, I love Ben Scissors.
Good scissors answer.
Thanks for regaling us with that story, Colin.
Well, it's just one of those little moments that's stuck in my mind, Bryan, that I'll always remember about you.
Love you too, brother.
Come on, I was paying you a compliment. You've been there since 3 in the afternoon.
I think maybe even earlier, but 3 is okay.
Yeah.
One of our time lapse.
One of our time
shots.
lapse, yeah.
And there's a Vominos billboard
I
out
just love
there.
that you guys spent all night in that garage together.
Well, we're method. Jonathan and I actually sat in those chairs for 24 hours.
Yes.
I need to attend to before this deal happens. But for some reason, I don't trust you along with the methylamine. I'm gonna have to restrain you.
You gotta be kidding.
I love
Stand
how
up,
matter of fact he is.
Stand up. Turn around for me. Arms out to the side. Up.
So humiliating for Walt.
Yeah. But I think Jonathan enjoyed patting me down.
That's a perk of the job.
I know you enjoyed it, so.
And this is where our friend Werner comes in.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's see when he ties it on there.
Zip tied me to the radiator.
Yeah, this was one of those sequences that it was something we spent a lot of time on in prep, what these zip cuffs would look like.
Yeah.
Right. And how to do that safely and controllably. And we ran a neon transformer through the wires, through the wall, all the way to you, and then we could operate that remotely, and we can adjust the level. So if anything got out of hand, we could turn it off or adjust it. Worked pretty well.
Yeah. There's a tremendous amount of testing that goes on. We just don't, hope that this is going to work. Do some tests. They actually tied me to a radiator. They wanted to see how much movement we can have. So it gives Colin an idea of how to set it up to shoot it. Gives Werner the idea of how we're going to do this. And this whole thing we prepped and worked on. And then when you get into the actual space and see your limitations.
Yeah, this is one of those scenes, when you write it, you have it in your head, but then obviously, you guys come in and Colin comes in and you really kind of figure out how it's actually going to work. You figure out the movement and all those really specifics.
And here you're shortly going to see some of Colin's bowling expertise. There it is. Pretty good, eh?
We also had to remove you from that shot.
Yeah, so Colin was actually in that shot, and he rolled the coffee mug toward the camera.
I bowled it, and they took me out of the.
Do they have bowling in England?
Of course,
they got it yet.
Lawn bowling.
Yeah,
they finally got it.
Green top.
Isn't that America's contribution to world culture?
And we were talking about licorice.
The bowling that takes place on grass.
And we're talking about using licorice in this at the moment, but we just, come on. And I actually cut up my mouth a little bit on doing this because these actual wires are...
Yeah, we prepped some wires for you to chew a little bit, but you really got into it there.
So Jenny, was it always going to be the wires? Did you have other options of him getting out of
I think when this original idea, it was going to be the wires, the idea of burning through these zip cuffs. We like the idea of Walt just injuring himself and getting out of something through sheer will alone. And it was just something we hadn't seen. He used his science knowledge, and it's really intense.
Coming to grips with the pain about to happen.
Yeah. So that's fake arm, right?
That's a fake arm.
Well, that's why we had him do the movement with both hands.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that then...
Ooh. And Howard Berger of K&B provided our arm.
And Tara Day did the burn effects on it.
Yeah, Tara Day is just... And that's fantastic.
And as Werner reminded us, we started with a glove over the arm.
We did a test with a glove, and it just didn't look realistic enough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the fake arm combined with my real arm, shooting from different angles, made that work. Nice work.
Yeah, we did that all practically.
Does that sound right to you?
I have no idea what he's talking about. Play it as cool as you like.
This is good.
You all know you've been following my client.
I love that you're still
The ribbon from Flight. What?
The only one who cares. Everybody else.
Totally.
Little razzle dazzle.
He's forgotten what that ribbon means. Completely.
I like these scenes. It's just a match of wits.
Well, some hurts only show on the inside. Now, you guys don't even have warrants for these tales, do you?
Theoretically.
He's a pretty great lawyer, though, I have to say. Hats off to Saul Goodman.
Hats off to Saul Goodman.
He makes it happen. He gets
he
what
earned
he
his
wants.
degree from the American University of Samoa. So
Nobody handed that to him. He had to earn that.
University of American Samoa. That's it.
Which is illegal. Now, I don't know what it is you find so interesting about my client, and I'm not here to judge.
Was it based on one particular actual person in Albuquerque, or was it an amalgamation of?
Saul Goodman, he's kind of an amalgamation of all those ridiculous lawyers on the late night TV and not every lawyer on a bus bench ad is ridiculous, but you know them when you see them, and it was just this great. Vince had this idea for this great character, and then Bob kind of built him, and he really evolved into this fun person. Especially in our dark shows, it's very nice to have Saul to to bring a little bit of levity, but he can also be very intense and do the more dramatic moments too. So it's always kind of a fun little balance.
Right.
As long as I've got Cranston behind me cracking the whip, I can do the heavy part.
You know, I think we could.
And Cranston coming up to me going, remember now what's happening in the world that you're in. There's so many jokes. Saul says so many funny, cute things that it can be very easy to just do him as just to have fun with that dialogue. And
it's your grounded performance.
The consequences, you need to be remember the consequences.
Well, you know, I think we can also talk about the happy accident that we found here. Back in season 2, I think that was also a Colin episode or something. When Jane dies, we were originally going to have Bob Odenkirk's character come and take care of the situation. And Bob, you weren't available. Scheduling wise, you weren't available. So they had to rethink, how do we do this? And that's when they came up with the Mike character. And it made it so much more important and so much more real that you would have someone who handles those things for you as opposed to you getting your hands dirty. So that's how the Mike character evolved.
Yeah, it's incredible how different the show would have been if you were available.
Because I would have managed that situation without Mike. Is that it?
Yeah. You would have played.
Yeah, the idea was that you would have come in and.
Oh, it's so good. What a lucky circumstance. Because, and
like every episode, they are over before you realize it.
Yep. And that's quite an ending to an episode.
Everybody wins.
Nicely done, everybody.
Yeah.
Really great.
Yeah.
Really great.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Really
you.
great.
See you in the next one.